Welcome back to Infinite Heart Stories, where we explore the profound journeys of individuals transforming their ordinary lives into something truly extraordinary. Meet Arav, a young boy with a mind full of brilliant ideas and a heart full of dreams, yet stuck in bed. Despite his high intelligence and natural potential, Arav was plagued by a terrible habit of laziness that held him back from greatness. He would often lie in bed for hours, watching the world go by, secretly admiring those who had the will to succeed. In his vivid imagination, he was a successful leader, a celebrated scholar, and a hero. But in reality, he was just dreaming. Every morning began the same way, with the sun high in the sky and a heavy feeling of regret settling in his chest. His parents loved him dearly, but watched with growing concern as their talented son wasted his precious time on sleep and procrastination. He filled his days with mindless distractions, convincing himself that he was waiting for the perfect moment to start working on his goals. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Yet Arav remained exactly where he was, trapped in a cycle of inaction. He saw his peers moving forward, achieving milestones and celebrating victories, while he felt stuck in a quicksand of his own making. Deep down, he knew he was capable of so much more. But the gap between his reality and potential felt impossible to bridge. The nights were the hardest, as the silence amplified his inner voice, screaming at him to wake up and take control of life. One crisp morning, wandering aimlessly through the town park, Arav sought an escape from the suffocating pressure of his own unfulfilled expectations. His attention was caught by an elderly figure moving with precision and strength that seemed to defy the natural laws of aging. This was Gopal Kaka, a retired army officer whose reputation for iron discipline and wisdom was known to everyone in their small town. Driven by a sudden impulse to find an answer to his struggles, Arav gathered his courage and stepped closer to the old veteran. The old officer paused, wiping sweat from his brow, and looked at Arav with eyes that seemed to pierce right through his soul. Arav poured out his heart, asking how the officer maintained such discipline while he himself failed every time he tried to start. Gopal Kaka smiled gently, a rare sight, and pointed towards a magnificent giant tree that provided shade for the entire park area. He asked Arav if he thought that tree had appeared overnight, fully grown and strong enough to withstand the fiercest of storms. Arav shook his head. The officer then revealed a tiny seed in his palm, contrasting it with the massive giant beside them. He explained that habits are like seeds. Success does not come from luck or magic, but from small actions repeated consistently over time. You cannot force a tree to grow in a day, but if you water it daily, nothing can stop it from rising. He advised Arav to stop trying to change his entire life in a single day, as that would only lead to burnout. Arav stared at the tiny seed, realizing he had been trying to build a castle without first laying a single brick properly. The challenge was simple, yet difficult. Choose one small task and do it every single day, without excuse, no matter how you feel. Walking home, Arav felt a shift. He wasn't motivated by a grand dream anymore, but by a commitment to a small start. The very next morning, before the sun had even risen, Arav woke up. He didn't hit snooze. He simply got out of bed. It was painful. His body wanted to sleep, but he remembered the seed. He washed his face and laced up his running shoes. The streets were silent and empty. For the first time in years, Arav was awake to see the world before the chaos began. His lungs burned and his legs felt heavy, but he focused only on finishing his run, proving to himself he could do it. Returning home, he felt a strange sense of accomplishment. He had won the first victory of the day before others had even awakened. Next came the study session. He didn't aim for 5 hours. He committed to just 1 single hour of deep, focused learning. He put his phone away and immersed himself in the material. It was difficult at first, but he refused to break his concentration. The second day, it rained. The old Arav would have slept in, but the new Arav put on a raincoat and ran anyway. By the end of the week, exhaustion set in. The novelty had worn off, and the temptation to quit was stronger than ever. He remembered that consistency matters most on the days you don't feel like doing it. He forced himself up and kept the streak alive. A month passed. The pain of waking up early began to fade, replaced by a rhythm that his body started to crave naturally. He met Gopal Kaka in the park again. They didn't speak much, but the shared rhythm of their running steps said everything needed. In school, teachers noticed a change. The boy who used to sleep in the back row was now attentive, sharp, and prepared. When friends invited him to waste time, he politely declined. He had discovered that the joy of progress was greater than cheap entertainment. His study sessions grew from 1 hour to 2, then 3. It wasn't forced anymore. It was simply who he had become. As the final exams approached, panic swept through the school. Students who had procrastinated were now trying to learn a year's worth of work. But Arav walked into the exam hall with a sense of calm. He had already fought and won his battle in the mornings. The questions were familiar. He had practiced them dozens of times during those quiet hours when the rest of the world was asleep. He finished early and stepped out into the sunshine, knowing he had done his best. The result was just a formality at this point. When the results were announced, Arav didn't just pass, he topped the class. The entire town was stunned by his incredible transformation. His parents wept tears of joy, not just for the grades, but because they saw their son had become a man of character. Arav went straight to Gopal Kaka. He didn't say a word, simply showing him the report card with a look of profound gratitude. The old officer nodded, his eyes twinkling. He told Arav that he had finally grown his own roots, strong enough to weather any storm. Years went by. Arav went to college and faced new challenges, but the foundation of discipline he built never wavered or cracked. He became a successful professional, admired by many. Yet his secret remained the same. Simple habits, executed with relentless consistency every day. Returning to his hometown years later, he walked through the park where his journey began, watching a new generation of children playing. He spotted a young boy sitting alone, looking lost and unmotivated, mirroring the exact image of Arav before his life-changing transformation. Arav smiled, sat down beside the boy, and prepared to pass on the wisdom that had been given to him so long ago. He realized that success is not a destination, but a manner of traveling. It is about who you become in the process. The difference between the dreamer and the achiever is not talent. It is the discipline to do the work when no one is watching. Motivation is like a match. It burns hot and fast. But habit is the log that keeps the fire burning through the cold night. You do not need to be extraordinary to start. You just need to be consistent. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. Don't let the fear of time passing stop you. The time will pass anyway. You might as well use it to build something great. Look at anyone who has achieved greatness. Behind their glory is a mountain of boring, repetitive, and disciplined actions that nobody ever saw. So ask yourself today, what is the one small seed you can plant? What is the one habit you can start right now? It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be true. Wake up, show up, and do not stop until you win. Your life is waiting for you to take charge. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is the one you create. Remember the lesson of the seed. Trust the process of growth. It may be slow, but the roots you build will support you forever. Success is not reserved for the chosen few. It is available to anyone willing to pay the price of discipline and hard work. When you change yourself, you change the world around you. You become a beacon of hope for your family and your community. Write your own story. Don't let laziness hold the pen. Grab it with both hands and write a chapter of triumph and courage. Once you start, momentum will carry you. The hardest part is always the beginning. Overcome the inertia, and you will become unstoppable. From the valley of procrastination to the peak of success, the path is paved with the bricks of daily habits and unyielding resolve. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Consistency is the key that unlocks the door to your dreams. Never forget this. Arav's story is not just his. It can be yours too. The power to change lies within your hands, right here, right now. Thank you for joining us on this journey of transformation. We hope Arav's story has ignited a spark within your own heart today. If you found value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe to Infinite Heart Stories for more content that touches the soul. Remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Goodbye, and see you soon.